Good afternoon. I want to talk about today how bigger is not always better. First, I want to address my streaming quality is not always the best. Um, we are out in the country. Our internet's not the greatest for the streaming capabilities, but I figure that it's most important to get you the content. So even if I'm a little fuzzy and you can't see me as well, the content is what is important. So turn up the volume. You can still hear me. Sound is still great, hopefully. Um, okay, bigger is not always better, especially right now and especially in the construction industry. So, what happens when you get an offer to bid a job and typically you are doing projects in the $1 to $2 million range and you get an offer to bid a $10 million project? So some people, I mean, it doesn't even have to be 10 million. Let's take it down to 6. Um, wow, that's awesome. It's huge. We have a good opportunity here. Let's do it. We can bring in $6 million. Hold up, because there's a lot more that goes into it than that. And the biggest thing in construction is the labor costs. And for some companies, depending on what line of work you're in, can be material costs up front, that you have to front that money. And if you are not in a strong cash position, that project that looks so promising, that looks so great, can take your business under. So we really want to be careful about taking on too much work if our cash cannot handle it. You want to make sure that you can handle the labor costs because you are not going to get paid for over 60 days, more than likely, maybe longer. And typically, your labor is paid out weekly. If you're a union contractor, you also have union benefits that have to be paid out monthly. So you have potentially 8 to 10 weeks of labor, potentially 2 months of union benefits, 2 months of paying payroll taxes that you have to front before you get any money when you're dealing with those large projects in the commercial industry. Now, there might be a deal if you know that you can't handle a situation like that, you might be able to ask for a percentage upfront. Typically, if they can find somebody else to do it that doesn't need that percentage upfront, they're not going to give it to you. So just understanding exactly what you're going to have to come up with before you take on a large project like that. If you can handle the 8 to 10 weeks of labor, the 2 months of union benefits, if you have to pay union benefits, the payroll taxes, if you can handle all that from a cash standpoint, if you have a good line of credit with a bank, if you have the cash sitting in your bank, then by all means take the job. If it looks like profits are good and you can be awarded the project, take it. But make sure that you understand what those upfront costs are going to be. What about materials? Are there any large material items that you're going to have to order, that you're going to have to pay for, or that you're going to have to store potentially before they will pay you for that material items? So that's also something to consider when taking on these larger projects. Sometimes you can negotiate with suppliers and you might be able to get a 45 or 60-day payment term with them. But typically it's still 30 days and they are not a paid when paid sub. They are a material supplier. So it's a little bit different in that when you order the materials, you will have to pay them within 30 days. And again, you might not get even your first payment on that job for 60 plus days. It's just something to consider. And I'm hearing some contractors talk about the big work that's coming in, and I just want to make sure that they're okay, because it could be a better situation where you get a lot of smaller projects. The payment turnaround time is going to be a lot quicker. And then also really understanding who you're working with is going to be a big thing there as well. So if you are working with a company that is known for paying quickly and you can get paid within 30 days, that might be a big difference than somebody who either you don't have a relationship with or know is going to take 60 plus days to pay you. So I just wanted to come out here and remind you, especially as the competition might be a little tighter right now. Labor's a little harder right now, so I don't want contractors to get in this mindset and just going after the large jobs. I really want you to think it through before you accept those large projects. And that too, I've mentioned it before, but that's really where that forecasting comes into play, and that cash management forecasting can come into play from your accountant or from our team. Is that we can tell you those things. Can you handle a $6 million project? Can you handle a $2 million project? What is that going to do for you from a cash standpoint? So if you have any questions like that, if you want to walk through any scenarios, please let us know. Send us an email, info@newlifekc.com. Send it directly to me, Jessica K at newlifekc.com. I'm happy to answer those questions for you. If you found this useful, please like, share, or comment, and we will talk to you soon. Have a good evening.